Hi. Um, do you recognize this road? Yes, good. Do you know this river? Okay, close your eyes for a second. Imagine that the river mass rises up and covers the entire Maastricht for a couple of minutes and then recedes. You can open now. You're safe, but you don't have any possessions. And worse still, no toilets in Maastricht are going to work for a long time. So what are you going to do? Start using the corner of your living room as a toilet? Or look for some other place? So actually, this was one of the dilemmas among many great challenges being faced by thousands of families along the Indian southern coast after a tsunami struck them the night after Christmas night in 2004. The magnitude of the tragedy was so immense that it provoked a tremendous worldwide response. I was part of that response. I was an academic economist who had never put even a little toe outside of any Indian city. And there I was in this village that I decided to help, listening to the women. They told me, listen, madam, we had the woods at the edge of the village, and there, whenever we had to answer the call of nature, we would go comfortably. Now the tsunami has felled all the trees. We don't know what to do. We have to search for privacy early in the morning or late at night, even near the garbage dumps. On the other hand, the gentlemen in the village seemed quite okay with it. They said they just went to the beach like they had always gone. So toilets were the last thing on my mind as a primary project in rehabilitation after the tsunami. So I just did some search, and I found out it is an enormous problem. See, even today, 2.4 billion people don't have access to a toilet that functions. 1 billion people don't have access to any toilet. They just have to defecate wherever they can. Now, this coupled with the lack of waste management, because there's garbage everywhere. You see, I love India, I'm an Indian, but there is garbage everywhere in the cities, and I was horrified to find that even in this most isolated village, there was garbage. So you see, garbage and the lack of toilets, that is, lack of waste management and lack of toilets, is making a killer that we are not talking about enough. What is that? Diarrhea. Diarrhea. Diarrhea is the #1 killer in most developing countries. It is not AIDS, it's not malaria, it's not any tropical disease, and no amount of medicines is going to lower the incidence. There is no vaccine. You just got to build those toilets and clean up the garbage. So my quest was, could I make one village at least have toilets, complete coverage, and clean it up so that it becomes as clean as any European village? Could I document it so that the good news could be spread and it could be replicated? That's how I started. And of course, I knew nothing about toilets or waste management. But listen, we are in the internet age, so I just Googled. So I found my chivalrous knights. There are many good people in India who are working hard towards sanitation and waste management. And of course, they were very happy to tell an academic how things ought to be done. Anyway, we got to work the way they do things. And I created a non-profit in this village. And they got contracts with renowned international agencies to build what is known as ecological toilets, particularly designed for high water tables like coastal villages. I raised funds. I was based in the south of France from friends and family, and I paid for the people's participation, which is a necessary condition in these large projects, because the people had nothing after the tsunami. And we went around building these ecological toilets, model toilets for the village councils, toilets in the schools. The village became famous and got a prize, and we all felt very, very good. But you know what? Those guys in the village, they still preferred the beach. And this was killing me, just killing me. So I tried an economist trick. And I held the world's first toilet beauty contest, now noted by the World Bank. This was not only for the outer beauty, I'm especially telling the gentleman here, but for the inner beauty, which comes from good maintenance, from good use, from good production of compost that could be grown. But what did it have to do with the guys? Well, the trick was this. The prices were very lucrative, but in order to participate, all the gentlemen in the household had to use the toilets for at least 6 months. Now, in a village, everyone knows everyone, and lying is a dishonor for the family. So 20% of the households which had received the toilets immediately said no. But this was the first time 80% of men in an Indian coastal village where there's a beach use toilets. And that's the reason that the village got the prize. Now, you see, my happiness, my euphoria was, however, short-lived. Because these judges were very committed architects and environmentalists, and they pointed out by 2009, because we still hadn't completely achieved our targets, that some of the toilets were falling apart. Now, I knew that the village council people had never used the toilets. I don't know what they used. I don't want to know. And the school had actually broken down the ecological toilets because they said, we don't want ecological toilets. And therefore, I was really devastated, you see. And I didn't know what to do. And I went around, and I found out that actually nobody had cheated me. I hadn't been stupid. It's just the system. This is how the system works. You see, government agencies and large international agencies go like a juggernaut. They carve a pathway of toilets, newly constructed toilets, but they are not supported by another process, which ensures that the people who need toilets actually want the toilets. The people who want the toilets know how to use them. The people who want the toilets have somebody that they know who can repair the toilets. Now, without all this, what was happening were fossil collections, and I'm told by my African friends it's the same in Africa, fossils of abandoned and stinking toilets all over the place. You see, so I had to find another model. So, with my sole staff, Mr. Paranjyoti, being idealists like Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, we set out on our quest. We went after various kinds of windmills, of course. We talked to policymakers, we searched, we tried different experiments, and we think we found the winning model, and which we have put into practice. And I'm sure you want to know what that is. Okay? So, Friend in Need, from being a facilitator of toilet construction for large agencies, has become a social business, or maybe a social venture, you see, because now we are employing a set of villagers, okay? They are our workers. And it's not the large agency, it's not the construction company, it's the villagers, okay? They are providing social goods, like toilet construction and maintenance, and offering it to the people who are not very much interested in them, okay? So to help us, to help create this demand, a microfinance institution called Bharati is giving them loans. Now, you see, I was raising funds on a small scale. In order to have a social venture, I need to have many people. So I'm spending all my free time, but I'm also now being helped by a crowdfunding organization in Paris called United Donations. So I don't have the answers yet, but if you invite me to Maastricht a couple of years from now, I'll give you my theory of the 3S. You see, how a local social business can provide social goods like waste management and toilet construction to a society at prices that they can pay, so that without any external aid, slowly, it won't be as fast as in the other model, but everybody gets a toilet and the village becomes clean. So you see, the message I really want to give is that, you see, for those 2.4 billion people, governments, both in the developing world and in the developed world, are giving aid. There are large international agencies. They are doing a lot of work. But again, unless this juggernaut carrying toilets to the rural areas is supported by the emergence and development of thousands of small local organizations which are able to ensure before the construction that things are really desired, toilets are desired, and educate the people, and maintain them afterwards, we are not going to get the best results. In fact, we might simply be adding to that fossil collection of abandoned and stinking, contaminating toilets, you see? So imagine, the potential is boundless. See, so far, what do you know India for? Software, cheap drugs, let's not forget Bollywood, okay? But you see, imagine if the daily output of the Indian citizens were properly harvested, okay? We could stop importing costly chemical fertilizer and maybe even become the world's top exporter in high-quality organic compost. So with these thoughts, of course, I haven't done the calculations for that either. But this is just a hunch that I have. Thank you very much.
Shyama Ramani, thank you very much.